Hi, David Nelson from Adsotech here. For those of you that don't know, Adsotech hold a number of user groups throughout the year across Scandinavia, and in these user groups, obviously the discussion about moving to S4 HANA and therefore the use of Fiori apps quite often comes up. So we're often asked, when will it be available? What will it look like? So the answer to that question is, when will it be available? Probably the end of 2023 or early 2024. And we have our friend Divya Kaivar from Precisely here to give you a demo of what it will look like. Okay, thanks.
Good day, everyone. My name is Divya Kaivar. I am a sales engineer with Precisely. And in this video, you will be seeing our automation of the Fiori app capability that at the moment is a beta product, but we will be planning to release this very shortly. So just a little bit of an introduction. Again, for most of you, you might already be aware of what Fiori is. Basically, it is a design system for SAP products, predominantly in the S/4HANA space, providing a very rich, better consumer-grade user experience. There are various UI technologies like SAP UI5, UI5 Web Components, and so on, to name a few, which can be used to design these Fiori apps and roll them out. The legacy technologies that we have been using on in SAP, like GUI, have now been made available as GUI for HTML or WebDynPro. So it kind of gives you that seamless experience from a Fiori launchpad for the users to work on the various data objects that they would wish to interact with in an SAP system. Now with Fiori, there are mainly three types of Fiori apps that SAP have released. And the first one, or the category, is transactional apps, which is basically performing various transactions for data objects. So this could be creating a material, creating a business partner, sales order, purchase order, updating existing data. So it's very transactional data input in nature. The other type of app that you tend to see within Fiori screens are the fact sheet apps. So this is mainly holding contextual information. So it has the key details of the objects. It also kind of has a summary-like view and just some quick snapshot details of any data object. So if you're looking up sales orders or purchase orders, it kind of gives you the associated invoices with it and some vendor or customer information associated with it and so on. We also tend to see a whole lot of analytical apps, and these are sort of operational in nature. They're reporting apps. It kind of gives you the insights. It's got dashboards that you could see, and they're predominantly display, but you can interact with these dashboards for your analysis purposes. The takeaway here really is that the Precisely product studio will be targeting the transactional apps for automation. And again, it's the data input and data changes creation is what we're focusing on, and hence the transactional apps would make the most sense to work on. The Fiori Launchpad, again, can be completely customizable. Again, for those of you who might see it, you might have various versions of this. You, again, can have a theme. You can choose what apps will come. You can group them. You could have header information. It also can provide a role-based access. And really, the takeaway is that it doesn't matter what you've customized it for. We typically work on a given Fiori tile, an app, and that is when the automation begins. So we do not really look into how the page, the launch pad as such, is customized to work with. SAP have released a public Fiori apps library that is accessible by all on the web. And it's at the moment, I think we stand at about 15 to 16,000 apps. There are various technology-based apps, as you will see. And some of the numbers as of June 2023 is what's indicated there. What we are looking at is that about 80 to 90% of the transactional apps can be automated using our product. We again are not targeting the fact sheet and the analytical apps, but a large amount of the transactional apps can be automated. So what is really ongoing at the moment is the beta program. So it's not a live product yet, but very soon, hopefully. We released this well over a year. So the first release happened in 2022, and this was where we were targeting mainly the Fiori SAP UI5 apps, both the standard and the customized versions of it. We then did a second release in early this year, and this also catered for the GUI for HTML automation. Now, because this is a beta product, there are some limitations, but the idea or the aim of this product is going to be that we want to provide a very similar user experience to the other modules within Studio that we have, like a transaction or a query. So for now, this is only going to do upload. It's not going to read data out of a Fiori app. We don't have an Excel add-in. At the moment, it's desktop mode only, so it's not going to work with Evolve and Studio Manager, but the vision is to also integrate it with that. And this very much has a studio look and feel, but the actual product that we would release might have a slightly different user experience, or the actual UI might be different to what you're seeing right now. But the concept and the idea, the technology would still be the same. The GA product is going to be like a new product release. It is going to be like an add-on to the studio. So again, at the moment, this is the detail we have, and we will happily share more as soon as we have any. So a quick snapshot of how it would look like. So for those of you who are Studio users today, you would know this UI. So as a script developer, you will have access to the three modules: transaction, query, and direct. But what you will now see here is that we also have the Fiori module here, which allows us to automate the apps, as well as the SAP GUI for HTML, where we can automate the standard sort of SAP GUI transactions, but now made available on an HTML UI. So with that as an introduction, I want to go straight into the demonstration. Again, the beauty of this product really is in the actual ability to create the script and how we can actually achieve a recording. So I'm going to do the three-step process of record, map, and run, but through a Fiori app this time. Now, before I go into that, I'd like to also show you very quickly the demo system that we have for the Fiori system. This is our Fiori Launchpad for our S4HANA system. And again, we have various apps lined up based on the different functional areas. One of them that you will see here is that, we also have some of them which have a web GUI access. And what that really means is that when I click open on that, this is going to launch like a transaction code. So again, this is your equivalent to like a VA01 transaction that you would be using within your UI. Whereas anything else here that I would click on will actually launch the Fiori UI screens for the data object, like that. So with that, I'm going to just minimize that. Let's start with the record process. So I'm going to click on the Fiori module here. So I want to record a Fiori app. I've plugged in the same Fiori Launchpad here. So you'll see here, again, we have the ability to mark it as an auto log on. So just to mark it as a favorite system. So you see that I'm using my own credentials to log into my Fiori app. And that's the authentication that we support and work with. We are now connected. So I am going to click on start recording. And what it actually does is it launches the complete Launchpad, and then I will then be allowed to navigate to the app of my choice to start doing the recording. For this example, I'm going to choose the Product Master Data app. And when that comes up, this is equivalent to a create material process. So an MM01 or an MM41 steps that you would typically do in your SAP landscape is what we now have within this app. I want to create a new product. So I want to go through the steps to do so. So I'm going to put in all my mandatory fields. Let's say I want to create a finished product. So again, Fiori has this help guide that keeps popping up. So I'm going to probably choose mountain bikes, and I am just going to say that this is the description of the new material that I am creating. Again, the same principle holds good. You can populate all the other fields, touch them. Again, there are lookups, search elements, and we can work with all of those. We'll take a look at a few of them as we go through. But now what I have here is this screen, which really has all these different views to set up this new product that I am creating. And again, what we see is that the problem for the users doesn't go away in terms of data input. Now, what you probably did on an MMO1 going through all the different views of that transaction, you would have to do the same here. So with this automation, we can now achieve remove that manual input into those different screens. Now we can handle tabular entries. So I can see here that I can add multi-language. Again, I can also put that inside a loop, and that gets handled quite nicely. What I also have here is that some of the table entries within a Fiori app opens up in a completely different page. So what you see here is that if I want to add an additional unit of measure, that actually opened up a separate page that I can work with. So I am going to just choose that. I'll say one pallet equals, say, about 12 pieces. I also can maintain all the weight attributes and everything, but for now, I'm going to hit apply, and that ends up being another line entry. So far, we've managed that table entries, another extra page. You can do the same for a whole lot of other things like classification and so on. But one of the beauty of this is that we also can handle long text quite nicely and easily. So it's literally just like that. I can say, I am going to enter many lines of text for any of these long text entities that you would maintain, whether it's a basic data text or purchasing sales text, inspection note, or anything like that. And then you could get that captured straight away. I also want to do a plant extension. So I'm going to scroll down all the way to the plant section. You can click through these as well, or just do a scroll, and scroll works quite nicely with the recording. So I'm going to click create, and that again opened up a new page. And I want to just put in my details. And again, same concept of recording, really going through all the different fields, putting in the values where I want it. I just gonna do that. Again, you could choose the values like that, or you could change anything, you play around with those values. I also have that. So on. We keep going our way through that. And at this point, I'm just going to say I'm happy with the values that I've entered. I'll hit apply, and that's entered a plant entry here. So at this point, let's say I'm happy with the recording. I've done a few various things here. So I'll just hit save. Again, the config in our case says, okay, there are duplicates that exist, which is fine. I'm going to ignore that and hit save. And my final message here should very quickly pop up. Master data record saved was the final message. That's the material number. And what I will now do is literally close that window, and that completes my recording. It compiles the script, and it'll bring up the mapper of our product. So just giving it a few seconds. We now have the mapper. So you will see that all these are the various fields that we interacted with. Now we also can handle attachments. Now you'll see that some of the Fiori apps also can take in supporting documents. So we've enabled that attachment option that we also provide within transactions here. So for now, I'm going to just get rid of that. But you'll see now that, this is my list of fields that I do have to work with. Again, I'll just drag and drop the values. Again, I can pick and drag and drop. So same sort of technique of mapping as the other modules. So we do like our drag and drop approach. So I'm literally mapping up the different fields of this Excel file to the different fields, different columns of this Excel to the different fields that we have recorded within the transaction. The expert view is also available. Again, there isn't really a whole lot of detail in terms of the GUI elements and all of that, because this is a slightly different technology, but it kind of groups us into the various subsections that we've been navigating. And again, within this, you also have the ability to add loops and conditional logic and so on. But for that, I am going to just save these files, and we now can put in, again, a whole lot of data here. And I am just going to put that info and choose to run it. We are logged into our Fiori Launchpad again, and this is making a call to that Fiori application. We'll call the specific app and it'll process the records and it'll come back with the results in line with our data set. So just give it a few seconds maybe to run this. And we should have our results coming through. And again, what you see here is that this message is slightly different from what you saw. Like it just said master data record saved because you were on the screen and then it showed the number. But the advantage here is that we still get the number back. So I now have the product number that was created in Fiori through this. And again, we have the results coming through. So that really is how you would put together a script. And again, being a beta product, we don't provide that publish option to embed the script inside Excel, but our vision is to have that in the product when we release it. So again, the end user experience can be very Excel centric, and with the click of a button, they would be able to call a Fiori app and run that through. I do want to give a quick view of how a loop can be constructed and how that is done. So you will see here that this is a script that I had created earlier on. Very simple, the same app, in fact, where I'm going to go in, create a new product, but I'm only doing the descriptions in this case, literally just the basic data and some descriptions. And I want to do multiple descriptions here, and the same concept of loop will apply. So I'm literally blocking a column as my ID column and differentiating the header and the line item data. And I'm literally saying that I could have multiple language descriptions maintained for the product. So you can see here that I can have these two are the two language descriptions I have, and it still runs as a loop. As long as it sees a D, it puts that data in and it'll come back with the relevant results. So that really brings us to the completion of the Fiori app recording. And again, I'm not going to go too much into detail on the sub GUI for HTML, but it really is a very, very similar user experience. So we go in and log into our Fiori system. And in our case, we have very few of them that have been created as a web UI app. And then what you see here is little bit like a window inside a window. So I've launched that. I've now gone in here. I'm saying that I want to create a sales order. So it's literally using a transaction, but on a web UI. So I'm just going to put that in as my ship to and my sold to. I'm putting in the header details. Now, because this is a multi-line transaction, I also want to build a loop here. So the same principle applies. And the logic or the trick that we have used for automating a transaction code holds good. We do have some configuration issues with our SAP landscape. It's just a demo platform. But nevertheless, I've got that logged in to say that I could have multiple materials, and I've built in that trick. I'm going to hit save. Just ignore the message and save that. So I've got my order created. So I want to exit this and also close out the various windows that got launched. And I now have the recording completed. And again, it's very similar. So this is what I really wanted to show in terms of how it would appear. So it'll again kind of show you the sort of GUI data technical field name. So you'll see again the table dash field name, sort of an attribute. And this is a bit more detailed. Again, it kind of catches sort of the OK code equivalent and and so on. And then you could again build a loop and map it and run it too. But the key difference is that you're going through a transaction code on the web UI. But that really brings me to a close on what I wanted to show. So just a quick glimpse of how you would record a Fiori app through the product, map it and run it. And you could apply this to any Fiori app and really eliminate that manual entry that users might have to end up doing on a Fiori app. And instead of that, mapping it to an Excel workbook to handle data in mass. So thank you.
Thanks, Divya. That was great. Yes, if any of you have any questions or feedback, then please get in touch. Or if you are around the Helsinki or Espoo area, welcome to drop into our office for a coffee and we'll have a chat. Hopefully see you all soon. Thanks. Bye.